What is normal in your country that is seen as strange by everyone else? I don't think this is necessarily that strange, but I live in Puerto Rico and it's very common for people to be walking along the road with machetes. In Iceland, parents sometimes leave their baby stroller with baby outside while they're shopping for clothes groceries. It's so safe here that they're not even worried about kidnappers. There was an incident several years ago in the US where a foreign couple left their infant in a stroller on the sidewalk while they ate just on the other side of the window, and it was a big deal. Police were called, family services got involved, etc. My ex was Egyptian, and when he came to America he couldn't get over the fact that in America we don't have bidets. He freaked when I told him that in nearly 40 years I've never seen or used one. I'm not Egyptian, but I feel him. Not using bidets kinda disgusting. Not realizing when you switch languages. In Luxembourg I use French, English, German and Luxembourgish so much every day that I don't even realize it anymore. I go watch a movie in the cinema and afterwards if someone asked me which language the movie was in I'd have no idea. I must look French because everyone talked to me in French when I lived in Luxembourg, which is fortunate because I know only a few sentences in German and one word in Luxembourgish. If you come to Japan, expect to be asked about your blood type. I am not Japanese but have lived here for a while. Blood type is a big deal in Japan. It supposedly determines what type of person you are and is based on some ridiculous study done years ago. But people believe it. Even smart people admit they know it's bulls but will go and buy one of the billions of books on how to live your life according to your blood type. It even goes so far as to determine who you marry. It's BS. And doesn't make sense, but now I've started to catch myself saying things like "lo yeah, he definitely is ab." And it's the reason why Japanese games often have blood types added, like Re1, Street Fighter and so on. It's no random fact, but it shall tell the player what kind of person the character is. It's a little like zodiacs. Picking a fight with a wild animal isn't considered your one suicidal mofo but instead considered the last step to manhood. Evidently you live in Skyrim. Apparently if you go to a birthday party in the Netherlands, all the guests will say congratulations, Jeffeliciteerd, to each other. I went to a birthday party in the Netherlands about 4-5 years ago and I was confused as to why people were shaking my hand, kissing me on the cheeks and saying congratulations to me. My Dutch friends told me this was normal. The birthday boy girl I totally get, but why everyone at the party? I live in the Netherlands and it's common to congratulate at least the whole family, and it's the worst. I wish it was normal to just wish happy birthday to the one who's celebrating it. Men and women going to a really hot and humid room all naked and whipping themselves and each other with birch branches. That is sauna. Perkle. Guy Fawkes Night, where we burn a 17th century terrorist in effigy. Well, at least we used to. I haven't seen a guy on a bonfire for years. This year the 2 celebrations I went to didn't even have bonfires. My last bonfire burnt a giant Euro sign, not even an EU flag, the fricking Euro which we're not a part of, SMH. From Ireland. Cursing in a work environment. Foreign employees have pointed this out a few times. No alcohol purchases until 12 o'clock on a Sunday. Gotta wait till mass is over to get pee. Getting blackout drunk regularly. Certainly not the only country with this problem. UK, I'm looking at you, but I've often noticed that even alcohol-loving European countries tend to drink a lot more responsibly, but as often. And Yanks are far off the mark. A lot of Europe seem to go out for a drink and only have 1 or 2. However, a drink in the UK seems to be a minimum of 3, and that's an early night. 5 or 6 drinks are normally a start before even leaving for a night out. Going with RI if someone drops something breakable in a restaurant, or just when people drop something in general really. Even better if it was the school canteen. Not necessarily strange to everyone outside the UK, but one of my American friends pointed out that UK taps in the bathrooms don't make sense. Why do we have separate hot and cold taps in a sink only used to wash hands? Apparently the States the norm for bathrooms is a mixer tap, which is far more sensible. It now bugs me, LOL. I live in China. Drinking almost boiling hot water as you would drink cold still makes no sense to me. I don't believe in all the key bollocks, and the only thing it's good for is when it's cold. Chinese in general don't like cold drinks and will have room temperature beer and coke. I had a Chinese friend who thought it was weird drinking straight up milk but then said she enjoyed drinking lukewarm hot water 00. Denmark. Leaving your babies in their strollers, unattended outside of stores or cafes while you shop. 16 years old kids legally drinking alcohol, never crossing a red light, no matter if it's 3 in the morning and there's no cars on the road. If someone says hi, how are you? You answer the freaking question. Hi, I'm good, thank you. We cannot receive a gift or a compliment without returning the gesture. It feels awkward to get and not give back. Birthdays are excluded, in the matter that you will have to wait for their birthday to give them a present of roughly equal value. My boyfriend is Danish, I'm German. It's fascinating how our cultures are so similar most of the time, but every now and then you'll do something so weird and quaint. My city has a communist party. It's not anything too bad. They're basically just the people you go to while your landlord is being in butthole. Punching down a slab of pee and then driving down to the servo in your VF Combi to buy darts pumping down under by the good old men at work. I went to India and when asked a question where the answer is yes, instead of nodding their head up and down like in the US, they do this head wobble from side to side. I was warned about it, but when I was giving training to about 16 engineers in a room over there and they all simultaneously became barbel heads, I almost lost it. It's contagious too. Driving on the left side of the road. When I did this in the US all I got was "you're a moron and you'll kill us all." How terribly unreasonable of them. Portugal. While others only eat some parts of a pig, we eat all of it. We also don't consider cousins dating or marrying incest, although this view is shared between most countries in Europe and Asia. Best part is being able to buy strong liquor in cafes. Yes, I want my pastry with a half glass of rum. Latvia. Well, apparently, we are among the few countries where people generally see Nazis and Soviets as equally bad and horrible, and for the most part don't have much sympathy for any of the big players in World War II. You're not alone, Latvia. Regards, Poland. Employers are able to pay people who work a service food industry less than the mandated minimum wage in some states. The customers are expected to tip you so that you make a livable wage. Brazil. In our lunch it's always rice and beans plus something. Fish, some meat, other stuff. A few foreigner students I knew called me crazy because it's rice and beans every day. How I'm not sick of it, lol. Filling out a form in order to receive a form and you don't find anything weird about it. German bureaucracy at its best. Food so nice, we fry it twice. We add a bucket load of spice, then have it with some rice. Our gods are both fire and ice. Some of us even worship mice. Should I go on or will this suffice? Djibouti. I'm of Indian origins. Back in India, it's pretty darn normal to see people taking a crap along the train tracks and such. If you've ever been to India, you've seen it. Also, India is the only place where two totally straight men can walk down the block holding hands and no one bats an eye. Random fact. Straight men holding hands is also a common sight in certain African countries where homosexuality is punished by law. Going into debt for tens of thousands of dollars to get a post-high school education and then spend the next 30 years paying the loan off at a job that has nothing to do with what you trained for. That's a thing in the UK too. I don't know about strange to everyone, but many European countries have polite speech when talking with strangers and people in specialized fields like doctors and teachers. In Poland, when talking with your teachers you say to them, Mr. Professor or Mrs. Professor, and always say to strangers Mr. and Mrs. They only have polite forms for male and female, making no distinction if the woman is married or single. Similar to what we have in the Southeast US. We say sir and ma'am to nearly everyone. When you go other places and refer to people like that, they get very confused or think you're being sarcastic. It's normal where I am to have a terrible internet and the lack of fiber optic, but other countries already looking to the next stage above us. A friend I have in another country laughs because the slowest speeds he can get are more than double the fastest speeds I can get. Definitely sounds like Straya. Drinking beer in a group by passing it around in a circle from one person to the next, refilling as necessary, instead of everyone buying their own. Peru. As far as I know, Denmark is either one of few or the only country where it's completely normal, expected, actually, to use the national flag as a symbol for celebrating someone's birthday. Generally, you can get away with flying the national flag to a degree that would make you seem obnoxiously patriotic in other countries. Dutchman here. We have a tradition called Sinterklaas where a mythical Christian figure, very similar to Santa, comes from Spain to deliver presents on his birthday. He has helpers called Zwarte Pieten, Black Pete's, but they became quite controversial the past few years. For foreigners it might seem racist, but for almost everyone here it's not. There are no bad intentions behind it and the Zwarte Pieten aren't even treated badly. But yes, it's about to change to something more politically correct, but at the same time there's resistance to it because it's a tradition for children. Sinterklaas and Santa Claus are closer than you think. I'm pretty sure Sinterklaas was brought to America with pilgrims' colons and had a name change. In New Zealand, and I'm pretty sure Aussies do this too, we call everyone C. The word has lost nearly all weight as an insult to anyone under the age of 35. We even use it as a compliment sometimes. If you bring your mate a beer from the fridge, the usual response is good C. If you hit the lights on the way out of the room, good C. If you fart in someone else's presence, cheeky C. We call everyone C, except my mum. Don't you dare. She's a wonderful woman. Worshipping cows. You are not even allowed to go over the rope tied to a cow. Either you go under it or change your direction. In places like supermalls they display whole pigs including their heads in mini fast food restaurants. We also eat eggs with developed ducks in them, and similar things. Philippines. Indian here. We eat with our right hand all the time. People threw trash in their neighbor's home. Cows are allowed to roam on the streets whenever, however they want. Lot of male to male body content. No homo. Ugly movie posters on pillars everywhere. Lip kissing is very rare. Worshipping celebrities as gods. This problem is far worse than it is in Western nations. United Kingdom. That almost everyone supports a socialist institution. The NHS provides healthcare to everyone in the UK and it is government owned, paid for and managed. While other countries have universal healthcare, the government rarely actually runs, usually just pays for it. Pretty much all the political parties and most people, regardless of how right-wing they are, still support government-run healthcare. People have different ideas about it, but generally even the further right parties still support the existence of the NHS. I've not seen that kind of consensus on a socialist idea anywhere else. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.